everyone, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today I'm going to give you an ultimate guide to drama schools. Now I did a kind of similar video to this a while ago. I do a load of drama school content and I did like a drama school auditions, everything that you need to know. But for this one, I'm going to be talking about drama schools specifically. So I'm basically going to be giving you loads of basic information on a bunch of drama schools, just so you can have an idea of, at a base level, how similar or dissimilar certain courses are and whether they would be for you. So just for your reference, these are all the drama schools that I'm going to be talking about today. And if I can be bothered, I'll leave the little highlights down below, but realistically, that's probably not going to happen right now. So if future me has done it, well done. I'll give you that. That was pretty good of you. But yes, today I'm going to be talking about drama schools. I'm going to give you loads of information and hopefully that'll help you out. So if you want any more videos on drama school tips, advice, because if you didn't know, I'm also in my third year of drama school and I did a foundation. So I'm pretty much drama schooled out at this point. Please leave a comment down below. You can leave it anywhere. You can also follow me on my social medias, which is Hope Wilson E on TikTok and Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitter, but realistically, who does that anymore? You know what I mean? No one does that anymore. But I think, without further ado, let's just get into it. So, what am I going to be talking about? And a couple of disclaimers. So, what am I going to be talking about? Number one, what the school is, because what would be the point if I didn't? And also, where it is in the UK. I'm going to start with ones that are in London, then move to Greater London, then move to close to London, and then move to regional. This is just because most drama schools situate themselves in and around London, because it is basically the central hub for theatre in the UK. It doesn't mean that you can't be as successful at a regional drama school, but I will tell you it will probably do you a lot of favours in the long run. And that is just my personal opinion. Don't take that as gospel. Then I'm going to be talking about what they offer, as in a foundation, a BA, or a diploma, or multiple. For foundations, I'm going to be talking about only full-time foundations, because if I added part-time foundations, we'd just be here all day. Degrees is typically BA or BA honours degrees, and I'm also going to be talking about if they offer any other similar degrees to a BA or BA honours in musical theatre, because sometimes you may find there's a course that's actually more suited to you than that school offers. And then I'm also going to be talking about level 6 diplomas, which is essentially, in drama school terms, the equivalent of a degree, but as far as I'm aware, they do less written work. It's actually the same with the foundations. I'm going to be talking about foundations and certificate of higher educations. They are basically the same course, you'll do the same things, but I'm pretty sure on a cert you do more writing than you would in a foundation. But at the same time, certificate of higher educations are usually funded and foundations are not, which gets me on to my next point. I'm also going to be talking about whether these schools have funding, whether it's funded by student loans, whether it's partially funded, whether if it's not funded there are scholarships and stuff available, anything like that, because I know that can definitely be a big deciding factor on choosing where to audition and where to go. I'm then going to be talking about what type of school it is. Now I put this in air quotes because there's never a completely accurate representation of a school, and this one is kind of just based off what I know of the school, of people I know who go to the school and stuff like that. So whether it's predominantly actor singer or predominantly dance or predominantly acting, or if it leans a certain way, or if the course is more tailored in a specific way. But like I said, you do have to take that with a pinch of salt, because every drama school has every type of person. It's just that there tends to be one more than the other, or the course is geared toward a certain performer. I don't know if that makes sense, but it hopefully will when I talk about it. And then I'm going to talk about how many students it normally takes, because no one really makes out how difficult it is to get into drama school, and I think it just really puts it into perspective. So just for a little bit of reference, the acceptance rate for Oxford or Cambridge, whichever is the more difficult one to get into, is like 17%, and I think most drama schools it is under 10%. I remember when I auditioned for Erdang, which is where I go now, I think the acceptance rate was like 7 or 8% or something. It was crazy. So I think it's just something worth knowing. And then I'm just going to give you any other information that I think is useful. But with those disclaimers, let's get into talking about drama schools, I guess. Okay, the first school I'm going to talk about is ArtsEd. ArtsEd is a pretty well-known drama school, I would say, and it's situated in Chiswick in London. ArtsEd offer a Cert HE course and a BA Honours course. When I looked, the Cert HE, which is the Certificate of Higher Education course, or the foundation course, was vague on whether it was funded or not, but it was definitely at least partially funded. Now, most Cert HEs are fully funded, but I couldn't find the confirmation, so I didn't want to lie. I wanted to cover my bases. But ArtsEd is a private institution, so the BA degree course is not funded. There are scholarships available and things of the kind, but they are very difficult to get, so that is something you have to be aware of. I would say that ArtsEd is a triple threat school. I think that's kind kind of how it's perceived. And they take 30 to 40 students every year, which I would say is probably the average. There are a couple of schools that are slightly different, but I would say like 30 to 40 students is the average. I don't really have any extra information on the school, but I will say one thing I do know is that for the Arts Ed audition, you do get cut on the day in front of everyone. So yeah, you can be aware of that. Okay, the next is Mountview. Mountview is in Peckham in London. And the reason I put Arts Ed and Mountview next to each other is because Mountview is also a private institution. So Mountview offer a Cert HE course and a degree course, and they are both partially funded, which means that you can get up to £6,000 in student loans towards the course, but then you have to pay the rest out of pocket. One thing that might be worth noting is that the Cert HE course at Mountview has multiple campuses. They have campuses in Manchester, Belfast, Birmingham, Hertford and Chelmsford. So if you lived in any of those cities and wanted to do a foundation, that could be something that you could consider. Scholarships are available for Mountview, but again, like everywhere else, they are few and far between. And I'm pretty sure at Mountview they are specifically designed for lower income students. And I would say Mountview is a triple threat school, but it is actor singer leaning. All the people that I know who have gone there have been predominantly actor singers, but obviously Mountview is a very well regarded school in general, but that's something that you may want to consider when auditioning. And Mountview also take 30 to 40 students every year. Okay, next we're going to talk about Erdang. Erdang is in Angel in London. It's probably the most central of the drama schools. Like, I've literally walked into central London from my flat, so it's definitely very central. Now, Erdang only offer a degree course, but it is fully funded. It is with the City University of London, and obviously I can talk a little bit more about this one because I go there, but Erdang is actually technically over 3 campuses. It's like not, but it is. So you have the main Finsbury Town Hall building, then you have the City University of London building where I normally will have like lectures and some of my singing classes, because there's like singing studios on like the bottom floor, and then there's also City Sport where there's the gym, and there are also like studios there which I do dance in. Something that might be worth noting is that at Erdang it's a musical theatre and dance degree. I think first year is a lot more dance heavy than a lot of actor singers like me anticipated. I would call it a triple threat school, but it is a pathwayed school, so this kind of alters whether it's dance heavy, triple threat heavy or singer heavy. So for a bit more clarity, in first year of Erdang everyone does the same, and then when you move into second year you'll move on to a track. Track A is triple threat, track B is dance, and track C is actor singer. You still do all of the disciplines. Like, I'm on track C, I still very much do dance, but it just tailors the course towards your strengths and what you want to get out of your degree. So first year is essentially identical to the triple threat course. You do basically the same amount, but I will say that the triple threat course is still dance heavy. The dance pathway is still very dance heavy, and then the track C's or the actor singers are more singing acting heavy. So if you kind of see Erdang as a dance school, it might just be worth knowing that there are options for you to not be dancing 50,000 times a day. But Erdang take 120 to 180 students every year. I think my year is 134 now, and I think the year below us are about 150-ish. So it is one of the bigger schools, but it also does have the space for it. Okay, next is Trinity Laban. Trinity Laban is in Greenwich in London, and it's a conservatoire. Honestly, there's really not that much difference. I feel like there is supposed to be one, but the only thing that really alters between a drama school and a conservatoire is that a conservatoire will explicitly do like artistic subjects. I've never had to explain that out loud before, but they're basically the same, so there's not a whole lot of difference. Although for conservatoires you do have to apply through UCAS conservatoires, which is different to regular UCAS. Trinity Laban do a cert course and a BA course, which are both fully funded, and I would say that Trinity Laban is actor singer leaning, but as I said, you can take that with a pinch of salt. And Trinity Laban take 40 to 50 students every year. Something that may interest you about Trinity Laban, they do this thing called collab every year, which is basically where the students from all the different subjects, is that the right word? So the acting students, the musical theatre students, the music students and the dance students come together and they make little pieces together every year, which I think is really cool. So if you're like into music, that might be something that you were like interested in. Next is London Studio Centre. Centre, which is in North Finchley in London. London Studio Centre, or LSC, has a cert course and a BA dance course. And the reason I bring this up is because the BA dance course has a musical theatre pathway. So at LSC, kind of like Erdang, you can choose a specialism, so you can specialise in dance or musical theatre, or I think there's another one, but I can't remember what it is. And I would say this is definitely a dance-leaning school because it is a dance degree with a specialism in musical theatre, not the other way around. LSC is a partially funded school, which means that you can get up to £6,000 in student loans, but the full tuition for LSC is £16,000 a year for home students, so be aware of that. But I know they do offer scholarships because I remember someone I know got one and they got like a full ride to go there. And I couldn't find how many people they take a year, and it probably varies because you don't know how many people are going to specialise in musical theatre once they get accepted, so I'm not sure basically. Okay, next is the ICMT, which is the International College of Musical Theatre. The ICMT is in Hackney in London, and they have a foundation and an accelerated BA course. The foundation course is £10,500 and is partially funded, and the way I assumed it to be partially funded was that you can get the full £9,535 from student loans and then you would have to pay the extra, but there was no confirmation on that, so I'm not sure. Then the accelerated BA course is just 2 years instead of 3 and is £13,500, and again is partially funded, presumably up to £9,535. As it's an accelerated BA course, I think there's a real variety of people that go there. The people that I know were probably predominantly singer actors, but I literally know 2 people that go there, so I don't think it's fully reflective of their year as a whole, and they take around 30 students a year. Okay, the last one that is in London is the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. Central is in Camden in London, and they offer a BA acting course which has a specialism in musical theatre. But one thing I will say about this before we get ahead of ourselves is that you cannot only audition for the BA acting musical theatre course. So the way that it works is in the audition you go for the BA acting course, and then you have to audition for all 3, which is BA acting, BA acting musical theatre, and BA acting CDT, which is contemporary device theatre. And you have to audition for all of those. So your first round you do a song a cappella, your own devised piece based off a stimulus, and then 2 monologues, and then they will recall you for the ones that they see fit. So you can't only choose to audition for the acting musical theatre course. But I think as far as I can remember you can put your preferences, but I'm not entirely sure. But Central is fully funded, but they do only take 15 students a year, so it's not the easiest one to get into. Okay, now I'm going to talk about 2 that are in Greater London, and the first one is Bird College. Bird College is in Sidcup in Greater London, and they do a foundation and a BA course. The foundation is not funded, but the degree is funded, and it's a musical theatre and dance degree. I would say Bird College is a triple threat school, but it does lean into dance. This is just because I know that the course is tailored more dance heavy than your average. And Bird College takes around 120 students a year-ish. The next one is Emile Dale Academy. I can never remember which way is the correct way to pronounce it, which is in Hitchin, which is just outside of London, but it's still kind of close, so I thought I'd include it. They do a cert course and a BA course, and both of them are funded but do require additional fees. So the cert course requires an extra £1,750 and the BA is £3,500. For the BA, these are called private sector hours, and they are optional, but it does make up 15 to 18 hours of your training. So realistically, because of the competitive nature of the degree, I don't think that you could get the most out of the degree without those private sector hours, because it is such a large portion of your training. I think it's about half. So I think this would definitely be something to consider when you know you can get the same from other schools without having to pay that fee. I would also say EDA is a classic triple threat school, and it takes 40 to 50 students every year. Okay, now moving to schools that are close to London, but not in London or Greater London. So the first one is GSA, or the Guildford School of Acting. GSA is in Guildford in Surrey. They do a cert course and a BA course, and they are both fully funded. And it is a triple threat school, but I would say it's actor singer leaning in the cohorts that it takes. but obviously not every single person there is going to be an actor singer. GSA takes 30 to 40 students every year, but I will say this is definitely one of the more highly applied to schools. I'd probably say Artsed, Erdang, Bird and GSA are probably, from my assumptions, the highest applied to schools. Next is Italia Conti, which is in Woking in Surrey. Italia Conti do a cert course, a BA course and a diploma course, and the BA and the diploma are mixed together in classes. The cert course and the BA course are fully funded, but the diploma is not. There are things such as DARDAs and scholarships available, so that is also an option. I also went to this school, I did the foundation at this school, and I will say the foundation is, I would say, a really well structured foundation. I think it teaches you a lot, but what I will say is that the foundation course and the first year of the BA course are almost identical. So if you're going to continue your studies at Conti from the foundation, I would just be aware of that because they are pretty much identical. And so you may not progress as much as you want to. I would also say there is like no sunlight. And I know for a lot of people that's something that like will affect them. So that is something that I felt was worth mentioning. And everyone saying the worst part about it is that it's in a shopping centre. No, actually it's one of the best things about it. So apples and oranges, there are silver linings to everything, you know? Italia Conti is a triple threat school, and as well as the certs, the dip and the degree in musical theatre, they also do an acting musical theatre course, so a specialism in musical theatre. And the BA course takes like 100 to 120 students, but obviously that varies. When I was on the foundation, there was 86 of us, but I know the year after us, they moved it up to 100. So it can vary, but I'd say it's around 100 per course. But the dips and the degrees, I think there was 80 degrees and 20 dips in the class that's just graduated. Okay, next is PPA, or Performance Preparation Academy. PPA is in Guildford in Surrey, and they have a BA course and a BA with foundation course. So they don't have a foundation course anymore, but they do have a BA with a foundation. It is a funded school, however there is an additional fee of £1,250 a year. However, when you do the BA with the foundation part doesn't require the 1,250. It's just the 3 years after that. PPA is definitely an actor singer leaning school. I know many people that go there and they would all probably class themselves as actor singers first. There are dancers who go there, but I would say it is predominantly a singer actor school. And PPA take 40 to 50 students every single year. Okay, next is Performers College. Performers College have multiple campuses, but the two main campuses are Essex and Birmingham. And even though Birmingham is regional, I thought if I was going to talk about Performers, I may as well just talk about all of it. So Performers have a cert, a degree, but it's a musical theatre and dance degree, and a diploma course. It is fully funded and it is dance leaning, and the reason I say that is because of the cohort that they take and the structure of the course. Because in third year at Performers, you either choose to be a part of the musical or part of the dance show. So it's not like other schools where you just do a third year show. You can choose to be in the musical or in the dance show, which is why I think it proves that it's a dance leaning school. Performers do have other campuses, and they do a BA Performing Arts course there, as well as a BA Musical Theatre, as opposed to at Essex and Birmingham where they do a BA Musical Theatre and Dance. The diploma is Essex only and also requires additional payment, and they take 140 to 200 students every year. But as far as I'm aware, that is between the Birmingham campus and the Essex campus, but don't take my word for that. Okay, next is Chichester. Chichester is in Chichester. Chichester do multiple courses, so I'm just going to have to read them because I'm just not going to be able to remember them all. So they do a BA Musical Theatre, specialism in music. They do a BA Music course with a specialism in musical theatre. They do a musical theatre cabaret course and a musical theatre triple threat course. And all of these are funded, and obviously there is a varying cohort because all of those degrees are so different from each other. But I think they take about 20 to 30 people a year per course based off of what I could find. But that probably varies depending on how many applicants they get. Lane Theatre Arts. Lane is in Epsom in Surrey, and they offer a foundation and a diploma, and on their website it says they offer a BA, but anytime you click on it, it just didn't come up with any information, so I'm not sure. The foundation and the diploma are both not funded. But the degree says you can get student loans of up to £6,000. But like I said, when you click on it, it doesn't come up with that course. It just says it somewhere else on the website. Lane is a dance-leaning school. It's definitely structured towards a dance course, more so than a musical theatre course. Although their diploma is in musical theatre performance, not musical theatre and dance, which was really surprising to me actually. And Lane takes around 70 students. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about regional drama schools. So drama schools outside of the area of London. So first we have the Hammond, which is in Chester. The Hammond has a BA and a diploma course. The BA is funded and the diploma is not. You can probably sense this is a recurring theme. Their cohort varies. The one person that I know goes there is an actor singer first, but they take 20 to 30 students a year, so it's probably not an accurate representation of the school as a whole. Then there's the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, which is RCS. RCS is in Glasgow, Scotland, and has a BA course. The school is funded, and I would say it's actor, singer, musician leaning. I was on the reserve list for RCS, and in the audition you have to play instruments or write songs or compose or whatever it is that your instrument thing is. RCS takes around 15 students a year, but I will say I think 5 of those are reserved for Scottish students. So if you're not Scottish, it makes it even harder. Next is Royal Welsh. Royal Welsh is in Cardiff in Wales. They have a BA course which is funded, and I would say they are an actor singer leaning school, and they take 20 students a year. SLP College is in Leeds. They do a foundation and a diploma course. The foundation and the diploma are not funded, but for the diploma, DADAs and such are available. SLP is a dance leaning school and takes 30 to 40 students a year. Next is Leeds Conservatoire, which, if you can't guess, is in Leeds. Leeds has just a BA course, and it is funded, but they do tend to take actor, singer, musicians once again because they have a lot of music courses and they all tend to work together, much like Laban and RCS. I actually know someone who goes there, and they recently were just part of this new development for a new musical. They were doing workshops, and they came to Leeds Conservatoire to have them do it. So that's also really cool. That's a thing. And they take 30 to 40 people a year. Next is Shochow in Manchester. Shochow has a CERT and a BA course and is a dance leaning school, as most of the courses that they do there are dance degrees apart from musical theatre degrees. So they do commercial dance degree, ballet degree, things like that. It is funded and they take 30 to 40 students a year. Okay, next is the Brighton Academy. I accidentally missed this off when I was talking about ones that are kind of close, so I'm going to talk about it now because if I talked Chichester, I probably should have talked about Brighton, but we live and let live, so Brighton have a foundation and a BA course. The BA is funded, and I don't think the foundation is funded, but I couldn't find any information anywhere on whether it was funded or not. Again, the people that I know who go there are predominantly actor singers, but that is not really an accurate representation of it, as I've said many times before in this video, and they take 30 to 40 students a year. Okay, we're on to the final two. The second to last one is Wilkes Academy. Wilkes Academy is in Swindon. They have a BA and it is funded, and it's dance heavy school. They also have a sixth form. I think a couple of these have a sixth form. I know Artside have one. Italia Conti I think are just getting one, among some other schools. It is dance heavy and they take around 30 students a year. And I don't know if I've already said it's funded, but it's funded. Okay, the last one is Dance Box. Dance Box is in Milton Keynes, and they have a BA course and it's a musical theatre and dance course. It is funded, it's dance heavy, and they take around 20 students a year. So that is your basic information on a lot of bloody drama schools. I tell you, it took me a long time to talk about everything and find everything. So I hope you appreciated it. If you want to ask any more questions about any of these drama schools, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If I know the answer, I'll try and answer it. If I know someone else who knows the answer, I can try and get in contact with them and return the information back to you. But hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it has helped you know a bit more about these drama schools. And yeah, I don't really have that much to say. So thanks so much for watching. Keep enjoying musicals as much as me, and I will see you in the next one.